Western Illinois head coach Joe Davis, team coming off a loss against in-state foe Eastern Illinois this week on the road at nationally ranked Tennessee Tech. That is Saturday afternoon. So, Coach, thoughts about your team, and then we'll go to some questions.
Yeah, disappointing loss for us on Saturday. Just didn't do enough to win that game, just in terms of making plays. Matching our opponent score for score. Very undisciplined performance by our football team. Obviously 14 penalties. It's very difficult to win any game at any level when you play with that lack of discipline consistently over 4 quarters. So, felt we moved the ball fairly consistently throughout the game. Weren't able to finish in the red zone with touchdowns. Rather had to kick some field goals in there. We made our opponent very one-dimensional, I think, with our ability to cover the pass, but couldn't stop the run. And certainly when we needed to stop the run the most. Proud of our special teams unit. I think continues to kind of take a step every week. It's pretty rare that you block a punt and still lose a game, but we did. But still a lot of football left. And, I think we played 14 or 15 freshmen in that game Saturday that got a lot of significant reps in all 3 phases. So excited to watch those guys continue to develop and get ready for a really good Tennessee Tech team this week.
Thanks, Coach. We'll go to some questions. We got Barry with us. Go ahead, Barry.
Hi, good morning, Coach. How are you today?
Good morning, Barry.
Good. I wanted to start with you with Malini Tia had a big interception for you on Saturday. And I wanted to ask you just overall about his impact on this defense and what he's meant on that side of the ball.
Yeah, excited about Malini. He was a transfer portal addition that we made this summer. He's played a lot of football. He started at a couple different universities prior to coming here, and he started at a couple different positions. The thing I love about Malini the best is that he has a very significant joy for the game of football. You can watch him at practice. He's smiling. He's encouraging his teammates. You can talk to him a little bit during media timeouts, and he's smiling. He's just got a joy, man, for life and for football. And so happy to see him come up with that big interception for us on Saturday.
He mentioned to me that you guys have a unique system in which safeties don't play a certain position, rather it's a side of the field. Why does that fit him, and why does that structure fit Malini so well?
Yeah, I think he could play the boundary or the field safety. He has at various times this season for us. A little bit just depends on the opponent. A little bit depends at times at maybe formational strengths or personnel strengths that our opponent has. But really, Malini being a boundary safety or field safety, I think provides a lot of advantages for our defense. And he certainly has proven that he can handle both when it comes to just a run support structure and certainly defending the pass and then being able to make the checks and get our defense in the right position back there.
You mentioned special teams, and obviously Antonio has kind of been a shining star of that group. Antonio Chada, your kicker. And I wanted to ask you, how is Antonio better than he was last year for you?
Yeah, I don't know that he's better necessarily. I think time will tell as the season goes on. Nothing Antonio is doing is a surprise to us. We saw him progress throughout the season last year. He was very consistent for us last year with field goals and extra points and certainly on kickoffs. And then coming into the season, we really believed he was one of the better kickers probably in the country. So his consistency, his confidence is really not a surprise to us. And we fully expect Antonio to kind of consider his or continue his hot streak, so to speak, and have a lot of confidence in him. Boy, as soon as that ball gets, basically inside the 40-yard line, he's a very deadly weapon when it comes to scoring points for us.
You talked about kind of reviewing all personnel after Saturday's loss, and I wanted to ask you, any decisions as far as quarterback or whatever position, that you'll make a change at for this Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know here on a Tuesday that we're ready to make any announcements yet on a depth chart, but it is, our coaches are legitimately grading practice by practice this week, and the guys that basically practice the best and grade out the best in practice are going to have an opportunity to play on Saturday. And, like I mentioned in the post-game presser, it's never one player, whether it be quarterback or linebacker or right tackle or safety, it's never one player that provides necessarily positive or negative results. It's a accumulation of the entire football team. But sitting here at 1-4, we're obviously not pleased with that, and have a responsibility as coaches to our football team to make sure that we're giving everybody an ample opportunity to compete and to potentially help us improve this Saturday.
Last one I had for you, Coach, is Tech is a team that you beat last year, and now they're on a 9-game win streak coming into this game, and I'm sure their roster looks a lot different than it did last year at this time. What jumps out at you about them when you look at them on film?
Their depth. I mean, they're a very deep football team. They're a university and an athletic department that has invested substantially in the football program. Probably much more so than a lot of other OVC Big South teams up to this point. Big positive for them and their coaching staff and their players. You can see that they're a very deep football team. They play a lot of guys on both sides of the ball. They've got stability at the quarterback position with a very productive veteran player there. And then obviously when you have that type of depth, it trickles into special teams, covering kicks and punts and those type of things. So they're playing with a lot of confidence. People have talked about their schedule to me, and to me, you play who you play. I mean, you have to go out and execute who you play against, and they certainly have maximized that. So it's a credit to them and their coaching staff and their players that they are 4-0 at this point. But very talented football team, well-coached football team, and we'll definitely have our hands full Saturday down in Cookeville.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Barry.
BJ is with us. Go ahead, BJ.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. Coach, just one quick question is all. I know you got to get running, so let's ask you one quick question. Did Kason Carswell, I mean, you obviously were looking for a spark at halftime. Did he provide, and if you've already answered this, I apologize, but did he provide what you were looking for?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that question, man. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, ultimately we put Kason in there to try to win the football game as we would any position. He's a young man that was very highly recruited. We thought a lot of him in the high school recruiting process. I often say about Kason, he's, probably a kid that was the first pick kid in gym class since he was in elementary school. He's a scratch golfer. He's a great basketball player. He was a great quarterback in high school, competitor, winner. It's got a lot of moxie to him, but still just a freshman. And so we saw some positives in him throughout the summer when he was here, and obviously in training camp as he's continue to learn our systems, and he's ready. He's ready to come in and compete, and did that Saturday. In the second half, and definitely gave us a spark there and got us back into that football game.
I guess I will ask a quick follow-up. Were you able to run the exact same offensive sets and plays that you wanted to run with him? I mean, he's got a full grasp of everything already.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't know that there would be much that would change between him and Chris. They're both very cerebral players. I mean, Chris has been entrenched in our offense here, and we made the switch at halftime, and I told this to the team yesterday. I mean, it's a big credit to Chris. I mean, he's a great leader. He never said boo. He was right there as Kason's right-hand man after every series and talking him through stuff and encouraging him and challenging him, and really says a lot about that young man in terms of how he responded on Saturday coming out. But no, offensively, not much changes when Kason goes in there. He's kind of been working as the number 2, number 3 guy here for the better part of 6-7 weeks here, so has a pretty good grasp of what we're trying to do.
All right, thanks, Coach. Thanks, Kyle.
Hey, thank you, BJ.
I got one more, Coach. I'm gonna let you go. TFLs. Your team seemed to 7 or 8 TFLs, and were in the backfield. Was that a positive for your team? And is that part of your game and doing well, or room for improvement? How do you see that?
Yeah, the tackle for loss is a huge positive. I think any coach would tell you that. We're not getting enough of them, and defensively, I thought at times Saturday where we were able to kind of buckle down and make them a little bit one-dimensional. We just weren't able to do that consistently enough, and to give up, basically a couple explosive runs in that football game for our opponent really, ultimately was the difference in that game, and you're able to buckle down and hold them to 3 and outs or forcing them punt obviously put, changes that game significantly. We weren't able to do that, particularly at the end of the first half to give up a 55-yard run on a very basic run play. And then later on in the game to give up a 30-yard run on another very basic, inside zone play. Just really disappointing. And I do believe on defense we're better than that. And at times we show that with the tackles for loss and things like that, and hurries and pressures on the quarterback. But just Saturday and to this point just have not been able to do that consistently enough in terms of defense and stopping the run and affecting the quarterback.
Well, Coach, thanks for your time. Best of luck this weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
You're very welcome. Have a great day.